The sound you're hearing isn't an alert. It's the sound of physics giving up. When the structural spine of Station Verit 9 snapped, it didn't just vent the atmosphere, it rewrote the survival instinct of every soul inside. In that moment, Kyle Mercer didn't see a disaster. He saw a calculation error, and in the ruthless vacuum of the outer reach, an error is the only thing separating a technological monument from a cold metal tomb. Verit 9 was a deep-range listening post for the Zenith Imperium. 22 Verit lives were silenced in the first second of the blast. What remained? 5 human engineers from the Union. 5 minds trained to fix what others destroy, trapped in a structure that had decided to die. They had 14 hours of oxygen, 0 rescue ships, and a station that no longer spoke the language of the universe. The emergency beacon was dead. The command crew was stardust. To the Imperium, they were already ghosts. But to an engineer, the impossible is just a problem that hasn't been broken down into steps yet. The first rule of deep isolation: don't fight the fear, fight the clock. Diane, the human scalpel, mapped the station's corpse in 40 minutes. Cal, the master of currents, faced the fused power conduits in Section 7, a zone where the ceiling was seconds away from buckling under structural stress. Imagine working on a fuse the size of a truck engine while the structure above you moans like a wounded animal. Every spark from the welder was an invitation to the vacuum. Kyle held the work light not to see the job, but to monitor the cracks in the hull. If the ceiling gave way, the debate over oxygen would end in milliseconds. They weren't just fixing power. They were performing a resuscitation on a steel giant that had already accepted its end. The lights came back, but the oxygen was still a mathematical lie. Pete, even with a shattered arm, found the fatal flaw. The Verit processors had a hidden design error. Without a manual bypass, they would fail in 4 hours, regardless of power. This was where the mission changed. It was no longer about surviving. It was about subverting alien technology. Kyle had to reach into spaces where a single millimeter of error meant death by suffocation for everyone. Then came the open loop. Cal wasn't just fixing the radio. He was building a hybrid. He was forcing human Union technology to mate with Imperial hardware. It was something no manual had ever authorized. A distress call that shouldn't exist, sent on a frequency the station wasn't supposed to reach. In the silence of Section 3, the impossible happened. A sound, a cycle, a metallic heartbeat. Section 4 was listed as a dead zone. But through the composite steel, Kyle heard the ghost of 60-year-old technology, built-in survival modules, a relic from the early eras of space expansion. 3 hours of cutting. The Verit torch wasn't built for precision, but for brute force. Cal moved the flame with the patience of a monk and the urgency of an executioner. When the panel finally gave way, 6 pairs of Verit eyes blinked in the darkness. 6 lives that the bureaucracy of space had already deleted. When the rescue team boarded Verit 9, they didn't find a disaster zone. They found a laboratory. They expected corpses and debris. Instead, they found a station operating with higher-than-factory efficiency, thanks to genius jury rigging and bypasses that defied Verit logic. The Verit team leader looked at Kyle and said, "This station was declared a total loss. By our calculations, you shouldn't be alive." Kyle Mercer simply packed his toolkit. His response echoes as the mantra of our species among the stars. We weren't part of your calculations, and to be honest, at first we weren't part of ours either. At Zenith Imperium, technology is our power, but ingenuity under pressure is our soul. Verit 9 is still out there, pulsing its signal every 30 seconds. A reminder that when the universe decides you're finished, the only acceptable answer is to pick up a tool and get to work. If you seek stories where science meets the abyss, you are in the right place. Subscribe. The void is vast, but we hold the keys.